Hi, it's Mo. It is August 11th, so it's some days into August, and I have waited to film this video because I was doing some projects, some things for videos in the future, and in the process of doing those things, I was also counting every book on my TBR. So I've been saying for a while that I was going to do this. I usually do this in March during my TBR month, and I usually include it in all my TBR stats and stuff. But this year I just had way too many books. It was complicated. I was moving my library, I was moving my office, so I couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it, but now I have done it, and it's not looking good. Let me just tell you. I knew I had a lot of TBR books. I knew I had a lot of books on my TBR. I knew I had a lot of books that were coming into the house. I will definitely be doing a recently acquired books spreadsheet update where I walk you through the spreadsheet that I made to keep track of all the books that come into the house. So I list every single book that comes in the house, where I got it, how much it costs, if it costs anything. Even if it's a book that is like a reference book that's not going to go on my TBR, even if it's a book for my husband, even if it's a book that's just going to go into a vintage collection or something like that, I always put all my books down on my RAB spreadsheet every time that I bring in a book. So I will be doing an update on that spreadsheet. As I've been filling out that spreadsheet for 2023, I've noticed that I've been acquiring a lot more books than I did in 2022. I acquired a ton of books in 2022, and one of my goals this year was to acquire less books than last year. That has definitely not been happening, and I've just been inundated with books. There's piles of books everywhere. There's so many books that I want to read that I can't get to, and it started to feel really overwhelming. So my idea was that I should count every book on my TBR, and now I have done that. So if you want to take a couple minutes here and guess how many books that I have on my TBR that I have not read. So these are all my physical books that are unread, that I have been acquiring over the years, that I want to read. Go ahead and make your guess. Put your guess in the comments below if you feel like it. And in just a few minutes, I will let you know how many books I actually have. One of the things that I've been playing around with while I've been counting these books, while I've been thinking about this, is that I really need to slow down my acquisition of books. If you watch this channel, you probably know that I don't buy new books. I've bought 2 new books all year this year. One was a poetry book that I was really interested in, and one was a new release by Jessica Haas that I wanted to support on BookTube. And other than that, I only get secondhand books. I get a lot of my books from Little Free Libraries. I get a lot of my books from community book sales. I get a lot of books from secondhand bookstores, but that's probably the order that they go in, really. I probably get the most from Little Free Libraries, then book sales, and then used bookstores. I do also acquire books other ways. My dad's been cleaning out his house, so he's been giving me books. Sometimes my mom will give me books that she thinks I would like, and sometimes I just find books randomly. Sometimes people give me books. This year I've acquired a lot of books, and before I even counted my TBR, I knew that I was going to have to pare down the books that I got for the end of the year. So my plan now is to go on a book acquiring ban. I've never done this before. I've never felt the need, but when you hear my number of TBR books, you will know why I need a book acquiring ban. So I officially started this book acquiring ban already. I started officially the 1st of August. I haven't acquired a book so far in August at all. The last book that I did acquire was July 26th, and that was from a Little Free Library. So far, I have gone 16 days without acquiring a book, which is actually kind of miraculous. That might be the longest that I've gone without acquiring a book since I started keeping track of my recently acquired books. And I hope to keep going. But here's the thing, because I only get books from used bookshops, because I only get books from book sales, because I only get books from Little Free Libraries, I don't feel able to pass up book sales. I don't feel able to pass up a book that I see in a Little Free Library. Now, for the last 16 days, I haven't gone to any book sales. I have visited a few Little Free Libraries, but I have been very careful not to take anything that I didn't really want, which resulted in me not taking anything, so that's good. But there's a book sale coming up in September, so my plan is to do a book acquiring ban between the book sales that are coming up. August 1st to sometime in September. I'm not sure when this book sale happens. It's one of my favorite book sales to visit. It is the Wall Library Sale. It happens 3 or 4 times a year, and it always happens sometime in September, but I'm not sure what weeks it's going to happen. So until that book sale, my plan is to not acquire any books. And then there's another great book sale in the very first weekend of October. So my plan is to go to the Wall book sale, acquire books as I see fit, try to be a little bit, strategic about it, but then not acquire any books between the Wall Library Sale and the sale in the beginning of October. And then as far as I know, there's no more book sales until December, so after that book sale in the beginning of October, I plan not to acquire books until that book sale in December. So that's like months in between acquiring books, ideally. But I do still visit little free libraries. There is the possibility that I will acquire books. So my plan right now is to do a one in, one out method. Are you thinking about how many books I have on my TBR? Calculate how many books you think I have on my TBR. Keep thinking about it. I plan on doing the one in, one out method, so if I do acquire a book between now and that book sale in September, I will have to get rid of a book from my TBR from my house. And this is not just go down in the basement. This is not just go away. It's going to have to be a book leaving the house, leaving everything. Because this TBR count doesn't even count my basement box books, which is a whole project that I've been wanting to get into that I just haven't had the chance to do so yet. The moment of truth, the big reveal. How many books do I have on my physical TBR? Now, remember, I counted this over several days, so there's some room for error. I would say there's probably between 10 and 15 books in either direction. Could be an error margin here. But I have 11 books that I have set aside for triad chapters. These are 11 books that I don't really think I will want to keep. And I did this as I was counting my books, or I had them pre-counting my books. So I have those 11 books plus my physical TBR is 670 books. So just in this room alone, just the books that are on my current TBR is 681 books. That's probably 3 times the amount that I hope to have, and at least double the amount that I thought I was going to have. I seriously thought I was only going to have like 350 books. I got way more than 350 books. I got way more. I really need this challenge. I really need this book acquiring ban. I really need this moratorium on buying books in my life, because I only read about 8 to 15, I would say, on average books a month. Let's say I read 15 books a month. That's on the generous side. If I read 15 books a month to get down this TBR, it would take me 45 and a half months to get through the physical TBR that I have right now. That's almost 4 years of reading that I would need to do in order to read every book on my physical TBR. Now, one saving grace is I do use my basement as like a extra TBR, or like a purgatory kind of. I do send books to my basement box books in order to get them off of my current TBR. It's kind of a backup TBR, if you will. And one of my big projects that I want to do is go through all those books and make sure that all those books should be down there and get rid of any books that I can. I probably have at least another 500 books down there that I haven't even looked at in several years. So books do come on and off. And another saving grace is that I do read the books that I own. So I am reading my physical books. I am getting through them, even if it's at a slow pace. Let me know in the comments below if you thought that I was going to have more or less books on my physical TBR. Let me know approximately how many books you have on your physical TBR. Let me know if you think my book acquiring ban plan is a good one. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!